International Training for Elders and Responsible Ones, March 2023. Week 4. Day 4. Outline. Roman number 3. If we magnify Christ in our body for His expression by living Him, we will become strong factors, channels of supply, to enable the saints to grow in life and enjoy the Lord. Capital A. In Paul's chained body, Christ was exalted, extolled, praised, and appreciated because Paul lived Christ. Capital B. Christ's being magnified is so that He may be seen by others in the reality of His resurrection and ministered to others in the reality of His Spirit. Capital C. When Paul wrote to the Philippians, he was living in prison and not outwardly working. His speaking of fruit for my work indicates that his work was actually his living. Number 1. The fruit of this work was Christ lived out, magnified, ministered, and transfused into others. Number 2. The fruit of this work was the issue, the result, of Paul's living in prison. Number 3. Paul's living work was to minister Christ to others and to transfuse the Christ whom he magnified into them. Number 4. Through Paul's magnification of Christ, even some in Caesar's household were saved. Capital D. All of us should aspire to be strong factors, channels of supply, to the saints for their progress, their growth in life, and their joy of the faith, their enjoyment of Christ. Whether or not we are such factors of the saints' growth in life and of their enjoyment of Christ depends on whether or not we magnify Christ by living Him. Number 1. Because Paul lived and magnified Christ to the uttermost, he could transfuse Christ into the saints and minister Christ to all the churches. Number 2. Paul's consideration to either depart and be with Christ or to remain in the flesh was not selfish but was for the saints' sake. He was absolutely occupied by the Lord and the church. Number 3. It should matter to the church whether we remain or go to be with the Lord, but this depends on our living Christ, magnifying Christ, ministering Christ, and transfusing Christ from the depths of our being into that of the saints. Number 4. In the body life there is the urgent need of certain ones to function as channels of supply. This is the end of today's outline.